Today we're going to talk about audio settings in Forza Horizon 5. I'm going to show you, after a lot of tweaking, what my base setup is, what I generally run when I'm playing Forza Horizon 5, and I also want to explain what some of the different slider settings actually change, because it might not be obvious to everyone. I think it's safe to say Forza Horizon 5 has some pretty incredible sounds, whether it's the cars or the ambient sounds, and pretty much everything in this game has been done really well, but obviously everyone wants to hear different things. Some people prefer the music, some people prefer the car sounds, other people might like a balance. I'm someone that prefers to listen to pretty much just the car sounds, so I'm going to show you the settings I've come up with that pretty much enhance the car sounds and make them stand out the most. But again, I also want to show you what a bunch of the different slider settings actually do, so you can tweak it to your own liking. But the first things first, let me show you exactly the settings that I have that I run. You can copy and paste these if you want to, or you can listen to me explain what each one does and then go ahead and tweak for yourself. So the first one is master game volume. This one is pretty straightforward. It affects every slider underneath it and pretty much will make it either louder or quieter. I keep this at max because I use a headset, and obviously I control the overall sound through my headset. The next one is car volume. This is the biggest one, and since we're going for car sounds, obviously this one's going to stay on max. But do note in the description there, it says this is not just for your car, it's also for all the cars that you might approach around you. Then we have tire volume, and I only turn this down a little bit because when you're drifting, sometimes the tire sounds can be a little bit overwhelming and over the top in my opinion. But you definitely want to hear the tire sounds because it helps you kind of understand if you have grip with the road or not. And when you put this setting too low, it's just not right. Something's just not right. Next up, we have the speech volume. Obviously, this is when the characters and your own character are talking in the game, and you want to hear this, but I don't care to hear it too loud, and they are way too loud when it's at max, so I lowered that to 70. Then we have radio volume, and obviously this controls the in-game music. Now, the thing I want to point out about radio volume is I have it down to 15, but I want to point out that I use streamer mode because obviously I live stream, I make videos, and some of the music in the game can get copyright claims, so if you want to avoid that, you have to put streamer mode on. And the reason I have my radio volume this low is because, again, I'm going for car sounds. I don't want to hear the music more than I hear the car sounds. So basically, for me, the radio volume is set to 15 because it's just background music. When I'm sitting there and not moving, I'll hear the music come on a little bit, but when I'm driving, all I hear is the car sounds. Now, the UI volume is the user interface volume, and pretty much it controls the scrolling when you click on different tabs, and there's also an ambient sound when you're in the menus. To me, when it's at 100, it's just way too loud. 35 was kind of the sweet spot. You can still hear everything when you're clicking and choosing a tab perfectly, but it's not over the top when you hear those ambient sounds in the background. Sound effects is actually a really interesting one, and the two best examples I found to show how the volumes actually change are when you're over by the water and also when you're in a stormy situation. So you're about to hear both of the changes when it's at 15 and 100. Now, if you've watched some of my live streams, when I first encountered storms, I was like, whoa, this is so loud, it's so crazy, you can't even hear your car, you can barely hear yourself think. So I think 100 is way too much. This one is certainly one you're going to want to fine-tune for yourself, but just listen to the differences at a really low setting and a really high setting. Next up, we have GPS volume. Now keep in mind this only really matters if you have GPS voice on, which I've had it off for the most part, but I turned it back on just for the purpose of this video. Now you want to be able to hear the person talking and telling you to turn right or turn left if you're using that, but it doesn't need to be too loud or overpowering either. So 70 is the sweet spot that I found. You can hear it very well, but it's not louder than it needs to be. The final adjustable setting is the low frequency effects volume. Now this one is the only one that out of all the testing and all the sounds that I listened to, I didn't really notice too many differences. Now obviously it's low frequency, they're the quieter sounds, but to me it was supposed to affect storms, maybe like the lightning, different things like that. I've set it to 10 and 100 and I just haven't noticed any differences that actually matter to car sounds. So this one, pretty much do whatever you want with it. Try 10, try 100, see if you notice a difference, but for me this one did not really matter at all. And really the final important setting then is just your speaker setup, and this obviously you just want to set to whatever you use. So if you have, say, a soundbar that you use with your monitor or TV, use soundbar. If you have a TV, use TV. If you use a pair of headphones like I have Astros, use headphones, and so on. I mean, nighttime is, I didn't even notice a difference. You would think that means it quiets the game because you don't want to wake up other people or something. I didn't notice much of a difference with any of these, to be honest, and I listened to all of them through my headphones. Now this is something, again, based on what you're playing on and what you listen to the audio through. Try out the different settings and see if you notice a difference. And then the final settings in here are pretty simple. We already talked about GPS voice. Radio DJ, that's the guy that talks behind the radio when you're listening to music. I have it off because I just don't pay attention to that enough. Horns, I don't see why anybody would turn the car horns off, but if you want to, you can. Microphone, this is when you're online. If you want to talk to people, you want to set that to on, but if you don't want other people to hear you, you keep it off like I have. And we already talked about streamer mode, so that is it. Those are my custom presets for the audio settings in Forza Horizon 5. If you have any questions at all, or if you have any suggestions or feedback of your own to add to this video, feel free to drop it in the comment section. But I really hope this helps everyone maximize and hopefully enhance their experience in Forza Horizon 5 because audio is so important. Thankfully, we have a lot of great car sounds, and overall this game sounds incredible. That's why it won an award, right? But that's all I got for today. Hope you found this video to be helpful or useful. If you did, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe if you're new. I'm out. I will see you on the next video.